All right, we are live. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another session of Dance Tea. We have a very fun guest today. I'm very excited to have him. But in case you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Shannon, and I'm a performer here in Los Angeles. And this channel is all about how to improve our lives as dancers by sharing practical life tips and hacks I've learned along the way. I also hold live interviews such as the one we're going to be doing today. And it's all in the hopes to give everyone in our community some inspiration or motivation by sharing each other's experiences. And today we are very blessed to have a very talented dancer, choreographer, performer, athlete, and he is currently actually the main lead performer in the Bellydance Evolution's production of The Jungle Book. He's also choreographed for many companies and many productions, and he was also a Cirque du Soleil performer for the Beatles' Love Show, and you can see him on the Jhené Aiko's most recent music video, Happiness Over Everything, where he pulls out all of his juicy Tahitian moves. And he is also the founder of EYP Fitness, which stands for Eat Your Pain. So, Kapua, without further ado, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Shannon. Thank you, girl, for that lovely introduction.
Hey, that's all you.
Where's the tissues? Thank you, girl, for having me. And I just have to commend and congratulate you for bringing this platform to life and blessing us with your YouTube channel and having this access to do so.
Thanks. It's been a whirlwind, but I'm finding it's a really cool new project and direction that I'm heading towards, and I'm so happy to be able to connect so many other people and also share other people's stories like we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting the feedback too from other people seeing how they've been getting value out of it. So that's cool. But thank you again for taking the time to be here.
Always.
Well, how are you doing? First off, how's it going over there? I know you're in Vegas.
I am, yeah. Currently at the time, just visiting my mom and my brother. So getting some family quality time, doing these new experiences of living. But overall, at this moment, all is good, all is well. Just taking, one day at a time.
Yeah, I know. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. But hey, what are you drinking?
Well, since you asked, coincidentally, I have this vanilla caramel chai tea from good old Tazo.
Oh,
Cheers, girl.
okay. That
And
sounds good.
yeah, and I had spiced it up with some agave, so because I like stuff sweet.
Yeah, with the side, something sweet. And I noticed that cup. That cup looks familiar. It looks like you got it from World Market.
Yes, my mom sure did got it from the market. I was like,
that one has the strainer that comes with it.
She has that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See? Thanks, World Market.
Thanks, World Market. Luckily, they're still not out of business, so that's good. But they close down a couple of places. But all right, well, I want to get straight into it because I don't want to take more of your time. And first question I want to ask is, I know I'm just going to get this out of the way because this is the one thing that everybody wants to know. How do you get your abs?
My abdominals?
Your abdominals.
Oh, goodness.
What's your workout routine? Do you do it every day? Etc.
Sure. The truth comes out. Well, naturally, I have a fast metabolism, and my body type is naturally slim, like skinny.
Yeah.
So therefore, like my skin hugs my body tight. But as far as my workout goes, I work out 5 days a week, 2 days off, and abs is included every day that I
Oh,
work.
every day.
hmm and it consists of the same um, type of exercises and workouts. Just to briefly um, let you know what I do a mixture of just normal various crunches and sit-ups, laying horizontally on the floor.
Mhm.
I incorporate a lot of uh, pull-up bar ab workouts where you're hanging with your feet dangling.
Which
And
you do. It's just
yes.
crazy.
And within the same exercises that I do for my abs, the only thing that adjusts or that I'll add or increase is adding any weight to the exercise, which
Mhm.
gives you the bulk and mass of your abdominals. So um, if you want that, like when your packs stick out from the side and they have like those rivets,
Yeah,
which I'm a big fan of. Yeah, that's where like the weights come in when I do my ab workouts. But other than that, to just basically chisel and form and carve and sculpt the base of your abs, you can do that all day without any weight, and you don't even need the gym.
right. Yeah, because you're not going to the gym right now.
Right? Yeah. So
Well,
that's
I mean, mhm.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know how many exercises do you do, and for how many reps, what are the sets and all that. I know there are some dudes who are gonna watch this and they're gonna want to know. I want to know exactly what he does.
Of course. Yeah. Okay. So throughout my workout duration, ab workouts are sprinkled uh, in between. So if I'm doing, for example, on Tuesdays, I do legs.
Mhm.
Um, I'll sprinkle my ab workouts in between my leg workouts. It just gives my legs time to rest, and then when I'm active with my abs, I'll blast that, and then I'll give my abs a rest, and then blast my legs. And then the duration of my workouts normally are 2 hours, solid 2 hours.
Woo.
Yeah, yeah. And oh my gosh, I'm about to give you a gem right now. So this goes for head to toe with any workout. Um, but as far, especially any body part, but with abs, being that it's such like a hot and high demand to want, um, slow down.
Uh,
Yes, it's like the speed control and the quality of the exercise that you're doing will sculpt your abs in the form of how your body is if you slow down and thoroughly stretch out each motion with the addition of your breath cycles, the connection of your inhale exhale. But through my experience, that has been a vital key and component to developing my body is slowing down.
wow.
Yeah, just slowing down, and that's why I at times utilize within my sets not doing reps but timing my sets. So I'll do for example, ab exercise, I'll do 4 sets of 1 minute time trials. So within that 1 minute, I'm not trying to knock out 100 or plus reps in that particular set. I'm slowing down and thoroughly engaging those muscles at a slow rate.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, how was that? Just I know you said through experience, but was that something just one day you wanted to try? Like, okay, I don't want to do 200 sit-ups, or was it something that you never did the quantity versus quality?
Got
Or
you. Honestly, it happened one day when I went to the gym and didn't have my headphones. And that day, I got to hear my breath, which you usually don't hear because your headphones. So when I was able to hear my breath, I could hear the uh, like the blockage or the non-smoothness with my breath connected to my workout. So not having headphones that day made me focus on my breath control and the depth of breathing that I'm doing while I'm uh, in the exercise. And when I heard myself that day, I was like, "Ooh, if I could stretch my breath long, I can feel internally my muscles working throughout the whole process of that one rep. So let me just erase doing 30 reps in this set, and let me just time myself and see what it's like to just slow down." And from that day forward, yeah, it's had its dramatic effect. I can vouch and say.
Wow.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
so slow down and breathe.
I feel like that's something that's hard for people to do because, and this goes for dancers too. I think it's this idea where I need to be doing more to
Yeah.
feel like I'm gonna get the results that I want. And this is something that even I deal with all the time because it keeps coming back. It's like, I go to a workout that, for weightlifting, for instance,
Yeah.
and that's something that I'm trying to work on. And with weightlifting, it seems like I'm not doing that much because of my dance training of go, 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 constantly moving. Whereas
Right.
in
Yeah.
weightlifting, it's like, you do a certain amount, then you rest. Then you do a certain amount, then you rest. There's a lot of resting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the same idea of like, oh, I got to do, 10 million push-ups versus just the one. I mean, Frank Medrano, who is this amazing calisthenics guy. He did this one Instagram post of him just doing one push up, but extremely slow.
Slow. Right. Right. Hmm.
And
Which
that
is as effective or even more than doing just banging them out. And I always keep in mind and uh, share with others that, especially with fitness and exercising, quality over quantity. And slowing down has really been able to allow me to fully and thoroughly fulfill the exercise motion. I mean, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fast-paced workouts. I'm just saying when you slow down, you're able to feel the motion more and complete it from A to B instead of cutting it short, which then will allow your body to sculpt to its full potential.
Oh man, I could go
Yeah.
on all day about this stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
and obviously it shows because that's
Thank
uh,
you.
you're a very well sculpted man, sir.
Thanks.
Um, well, you have your EYP Fitness brand.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Do you have, private sessions? Do you have classes or anything like that going on?
Of course. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. So Eat Your Pain Fitness. It's still in its infant stages. I'm solidifying its foundation and getting it off the ground, just as far as spreading its life of it being here and alive and manifesting. Um, but yeah, at the moment, I am offering virtual, of course, private sessions or small group sessions within folks, and people in their homes. Um, but yeah, definitely. And then furthermore, yeah, ultimately, I have goals of opening up an EYP gym um, to provide folks with a facility and particular equipment that I found very helpful in utilizing, as well as uh, clothing and merchandise. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's still in the blueprint works, but it's boiling.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. I'm gonna be your first student. Just Well, I'll be first of many. I'm sure there will be people
You already are, girl. I got you.
who would.
Yeah,
But yeah, especially now. I mean, people could. I think people are really struggling with. Well, people were already struggling with discipline when it comes to fitness,
sure.
and especially now with the whole pandemic and all. How Well, first off, have you always been into fitness? Is this something that, was instilled in you, or did you just started doing it one day? Does this come easy for you? I'm talking for people who just don't have that discipline or think that, going to the gym is like the hardest thing to get themselves to do.
Of course. Yeah, which is totally understandable and, within our um, natural. For me personally, 14 years old, I I remember like it was yesterday. My dad, growing up, was a huge fitness head, and he always had um, equipment in the garage. And 14 years old, I remember it was summer uh, uh, off of school, and I went into the garage, seeing him do his routine. And from that day forward is when I just followed him and what he did. And thankfully, yeah, it naturally sunk into me as far as developing a love and a liking and an attraction and passion to work out. Um, and then in high school, um, I was into football, basketball, and various sports. And when it came to the weight training portion, especially football,
Mhm.
all my friends and teammates, would um, lift heavy. I'm talking like squats, bench press, double plates, triple plates, maxing out. And me, I'm a small fella, so and in school I was tiny. I was ripped, but I was real tiny. And I was looking at the regimen of like what we were supposed to do for that day's practice. And then I went to my coaches. I was like, um, I don't think any of this heavyweight is right for me. Is there any way I could supplement doing my personal own layout of working out? And they're like, well, what is that for you? And I told them, well, uh, it's what I do at home, and it contains just pure body weight working out, just utilizing my body. And then my coach at the time goes, if you could out dip me, which, dipping on the bar, doing dips, if you could out dip,
Oh, uh-huh.
you can do your own workout that suits you. And uh, because I was so light in high school, I mean, it was like lifting air. So sure enough, after out repping him, he was just like, do what you do, because obviously you know what you're doing. But yeah, it all started from my dad, who I have to thank at 14 years old in the garage, and all the equipment that he was working out with then, I have to this day.
No way.
Yes, and it holds so much like deep mana and heart, and you can just feel it because it goes way back when. So the equipment that my dad used then, I still have to this day, Shan.
Oh
Yeah,
man, you better keep that.
right. Like I almost gotta frame them.
Pass it down.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Every time I look at your abs, I'm like, damn it, I need to do some
Thank
sit.
you. Well, and you know what that coconut oil be doing? It'd be enhancing it twice. So everybody, get your coconut oil.
And if you guys want to see what it looks like with some oil on, check out Janae Aiko's music video.
Yes, girl. Oh
There's
man,
all kinds of glass happening.
gloss, glistening. My
So
gosh.
listen.
Right, right.
Well, I wanna shift gears a little bit and go into dance now. And this is something that I ask everyone that I've interviewed so far because I think it's so fascinating. How did you first get into dance, and why? Why dance?
Mm. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Ooh, good question. So, out the womb, my dad, he's a DJ. Um, Growing up when he was young, DJing was it's his still his passion, but now he does it as a hobby. But throughout my childhood, there was always music playing. all around the clock, just because my dad having all his records and just that's what he just loved to do. So there's always constant music playing. Um, and then let me see if I can remember it. Uh, we were in the mall. Oh gosh, no, I'm sorry. We were at Marine World. We were at Marine World, and I remember even the outfit I had on. I think I had to say like 3 years old. I had Velcro slippers on, some like sailor shorts, a fanny pack, a duck T-shirt, and I had a bucket hat, a sailor bucket hat. And we stopped because I heard this story from my mom many times. We stopped to eat, and I heard live instruments playing, like the trumpet, and all that. And I left at 3 years old. I left the table with my churro. I left the table and I went straight to the band, standing in front of all of them. And then I started bouncing up and down, like my knees started to bend. And, and then my auntie comes, my mom's sister, and she goes, "Oh, there she's all, go ahead, Nick, baila, 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 dance, dance." And my whole family was just shook because I could care less about Marine World. I was just like, as long as they were playing, I was dancing. And that's like, my mom would say that's where she first realized that I think this boy he likes to perform. And then at 4 years old in the mall, back in the Bay Area where I did most of my upbringing, my dad would tell me this story all the time. We were walking through the mall, and then there's this electronics store with a bunch of TVs in the front window, and it had James Brown playing on all the TVs. And as we were walking through the mall, again, I stopped and I looked at all the TVs, and then I did the bounce. So they're like, oh yeah, performing arts is where he's at. So I think naturally, I just being around music all the time, and then just you know getting attracted to entertainment and just seeing that type of thing on being that young, it just grabbed me.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll never forget those stories.
Was it your parents that put you in Polynesian at that point?
Yes, I joined my first halau back in the Bay Area under the direction of my uncle Anthony Manawis, called Otea Api. My mom and I joined together, and I was 9 years old at the time. Yeah, and that was the start of my
So it was Polynesian first, and then how did hip hop and freestyling come into your life?
Yeah, and as far as that, I feel that was that stemmed from the living room. Being around all my cousins, all my aunties, some of my uncles. We would just dance in the living room, and that's really where it all went down. And then at I think I was 14 years old, my summer going into freshman year. My mom was like, "Let's go to a studio. Let's just see what a studio would be like for you." So we went to a studio in the Bay, back in the Bay, at a studio called Mission Dance and Performing Arts, under the direction of a good friend of mine, Donna. And we walked in there not knowing what we were there for. My mom was just like, he loves to dance, and we were just trying to put more structure and direction in going forward. What do you offer? And they asked me, well, what do you like to do, like as far as dancing? Like, what's your taste of genre? And I told them, I love freestyling, and I guess you could say hip hop. And so from there, they walked me through. They gave us a tour of the studio. They're like, oh, here we have beginner hip hop. Here we have jazz. And then we went to the back of the studio, and there's all girls. And they're actually preparing for a competition at the time. And Donna goes, and here, this is our hip hop competition team. And I looked at my mom, and I was like, I want to take that class. And Donna's like, oh, but this is our competition team. So on their break, the teacher, the choreographer, comes out, and I got to meet her, and she goes, "Well, gosh, you seem so taken in and like intrigued by what we do. Do you mind if I can ask you if you're open to it to audition?" I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, "Now?" And I was like, "Okay." So they had me audition right then and there while the girls were on their break. She put on a song for me, and she let me go at it. And that day, I stayed for the class to be implemented in what they were already learning for the competition.
Wow.
Being the only boy, yeah, like it was a bundle package. Like it happened all within that evening, and we were just,
Wow.
yeah, we were just looking to check things out, get the tour, think it over. But it was just like I felt like God was like, "Go, boy."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it all stemmed and came to life.
Wow. So then
Hmm.
how long when was the competition
When was it?
after that? How long was it?
Oh gosh, I think we were. If I could remember clearly, I think they were a month and a half out. I think 2 months. I think.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So you just went in and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, and the girls are so supportive, and then they weren't used to having a boy. They weren't used to having a guy in the group, so that was a nice addition for both sides. Yeah.
that's amazing. So you've always been a true lover of dance.
Yeah, I would say, and just yeah, like if there's music, say no more. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this is something that I know about you too because we talk about it and I mean there are dancers and then there are dancers. There,
Mm,
I don't know. It's hard to say because there are dancers who will only dance in class, who will only dance, you know, if they get paid, or who will only dance.
sure.
But you, my friend, you're one of those where it's not even about, it's just the pure act of it, of dancing. So tell us about like your routine because I know you have your own set kind of dance.
Yeah. 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 Of course. Well, I could tell you my routine at the moment, due to uh, the
Yeah.
conditions of living. Um, Independently, I set myself up for 2 classes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Um, One of them I mandatorily make to take ballet, and then the other one is an open class that interests me of that day. So, like last week, I did jazz, street jazz, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on the weekends, I'll do independent self training, and that's just a plethora of just openly carving space or choreographing, just to build material and sharpen our tools. Um, I'll do exercises with myself, which I learned a lot from being in Cirque du Soleil, just as far as like improv exercises, themed concepts and activities that could help enhance and broaden your like creativity and imagination within your art of dance. And then thankfully, I'm part of uh, a crew, or like what I like to call a family, called Flowkey, which is mainly based out of back in Los Angeles. And yeah, those are just a whole another group of beings who share the same love and imagination and creativity and heart for the art of dance. So having peers like that alongside really help. Um, yeah. So I mean, and as far as like today, just being your own cheerleader, being your own coach, being your own uh, like drill sergeant in a in a graceful way. But yeah, just to
Got
say,
you.
yeah, got to, girl, right?
Got you now.
Hmm.
It's perfect that you mentioned Cirque du Soleil because,
Yeah.
well, you know, because you're a part of it. It's a whole nother ball game, right? And did you feel like entering in was it a kind of a shock for you? Was it just like, okay, I'm coming into a different level, or was it something that you were already familiar with?
Oh man, Shans, I can go. We can dive deep into this whole experience
Let's
of.
go.
So, let me just tell you, like, so Cirque du Soleil, before being accepted and hired, I wasn't too familiar with the company or their various shows that they have or had. Um, After graduating high school, doing my senior year in Vegas, which was in '06, I was ready and locked in to go to UNLV. And uh, 1 month before starting college, I was just auditioning in Vegas for gigs and jobs and stuff. Um, Doing that before school started, and the last audition that I attended before starting college was for Cirque du Soleil, and I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it because I just at the time didn't have the urge or interest, and I was just more so excited about the college life. But with my mom and my family, my dad pushing me to go just to for the heck of it,
Right.
I ended up going and attending, not knowing what I was getting into. Um, I showed up to the audition place, and there was 80 folks auditioning. Uh, and when I walked into the theater, I immediately saw it, like 95% of everyone doing some stretches that I have never seen before. I'm talking like leg behind their head, handstands, just holding it like it's nothing. And me, I'm over here like just the norm. Like, oh my gosh, what are we about to get into? Because I can't even do any of these stretches, and we haven't even begun the audition yet. And so I was just taken by that because I didn't know what I was walking into, and it was a oh gosh, I think it was close to a 8 to 10 hour audition, and
Wow. Great.
yeah, and it was just a mix of choreography, self-expression, and freestyling, uh, a bunch of improv activities and exercises, and it really just within that time of auditioning opened my eyes to just how deep our art goes and how like connected it is to just um, to be expressed beyond just 5, 6, 7, 8 like counts. Like there's so much more in depth with our movement and the way we express and articulate and display it. So uh, from 80 folks auditioning, they cut it down to 12, I believe, and then from 12 they cut it down to 4, and then from
Wow.
4 they cut it down to 3, and like blown away on like sticking around, like by the grace of God, I was one of those 3, and they thanked us, they got us on tape, on camera, and kept us on file. 2 weeks before I was supposed to start college, I get a call from CERT saying that I have been accepted into the Beatles Love Show, which is at the Mirage Hotel and Casino. And I was like, "Ooh, who's in love and where we go?" Like I was taken. I didn't even know what the Beatles Love Show was. I was like, "What? Who is this?" Like, is this the is this the collections or who you calling for? Like, so they had to reiterate like the audition you attended at, and I was like, "Oh yeah." They're like, we would love to hire you. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I told them, I was going to start college in 2 weeks. Is there any way I can do both? And they were like, unfortunately, in your particular case, we would like to hire you as a temp, which means we would need you full time, but under a temp contract. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to do both. And with that being said, we know that we're giving you the choice of your career or school. So we'll go ahead and give you some time to think about it, talk it over with your family. And I was 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, I just graduated, so it was some big shoes that I have never put my feet in before, and I must tell you that experience is of a lifetime. Um, yeah, being a part of cirque is something that will be with me for the rest of my life. That I've learned so much from.
What do you feel like you've learned the most that maybe people don't get a chance to because some of them may not have that opportunity?
Yeah, I would say, gosh, um, just like how they say or like how we hear music is universal, and is like in um, connects us all in like oneness. The biggest thing that I took from cirque is the same thing, but with the art of um, performing general, and the display of physical movement and motion, from like contortionists to the clowns to the jugglers to the dancers to the aerialists. We all shared one thing, and that was a deep passion and conversation, and that language of the art. And these artists, these human beings, these gifted, oh my gosh, like just souls, are from all over the world. And I think that's the biggest thing I took from cirque, or one of the biggest things, was that like this language of dance, or even just physical movement and display of performing, is a global language that is sprinkled and like worldly shared. And being around just beautiful people from, oh my gosh, Europe to like Africa, um, Asia, uh, yeah, just globally, I was so taken by being able to share the same passion in art, with people from all over the world. And yeah, that was deep for me.
Um, Man, I can only imagine just being around so many different kinds of performers,
Oh my
uh,
God.
and being in a room where everyone has different training and
Yeah.
work ethic and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
That must have really put you in a whole nother level, especially at 17.
Yeah, totally. And at the time, I was the youngest in the cast.
Oh
I
man,
was I was the baby, so everybody, treated me like that. Like, as far as like just caretaking, and then like always looking out for me, and
yeah,
um, yeah, and gosh, cirque is just like, it's a world of its own. It's a world of its own, and there's so much to be absorbed and shared and connected within the world of cirque, that is just like, it's more felt than what can be said.
right, right.
Yeah, yeah, by far. I know.
I want to go back to the audition moment
Yeah.
because I know we've all auditioned before, and there are times when we're like, "Wait, I'm still here," and then there are times where I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm still here." So,
Mm.
was there a moment where you're like, "Yeah, I got this," or was it never like that, or was there just like maybe one thing that you did that was like, "Huh, I think I got this," you know?
Yeah. I didn't have anything in me, um, echoing or saying that I think I got this. I feel it was more, at that time. It was more um, taking it in bite sizes. So like each section that we did of the audition, and making it past that section. I, I remember vividly. Okay, now that I've made it past that section, let me just focus on what is coming up next instead of thinking that I got the whole thing in the bag. Because we were there for 8+ hours, and one of my biggest concerns was just being able to last. Like, I wanted to be able to give them my all throughout the whole duration. So at that time I was taking it more of like in bite sizes, and just chopping it up in pieces that I can intake and digest. And when it got towards the end of the audition, like, the excitement was building naturally. I must admit, like, it was like, oh my gosh, like, there's only 6 of us left, which was enough for me already, because walking in, I was like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be up in here, because already I failed the stretching portion. Like, yeah. Like, I don't even know. I can't. My leg don't go that high. So I would say, I mean, for advice wise, just generally auditioning, chop it up in moments. Like, chop it up by the piece. Like like as if you're eating. We ain't trying to swallow the whole plate at once. Just use your knife and fork, and take what you can in each moment, for sure.
Ooh, that's baller advice, because that's something that not just for dancers but in life in general, people get overwhelmed. People get so overwhelmed with, and I'm not immune to this either. You look at the bigger picture. You look at the bigger picture of the audition, you get overwhelmed. You look at the bigger picture of life, you get overwhelmed. But putting it into bite-sized pieces and just seeing what's right in front of you, really makes a huge difference. And the other thing I want to kind of touch on is, especially for someone like you in an audition setting, since we're on it. People, it's intimidating. Sometimes you go to an audition and you have 400, 500 people standing in line with you, cattle call, or even if it's just 10 people, it can be intimidating. So what are the things that you do? Do you have a routine that you do before an audition? Do you go in with a certain kind of mindset?
Oh, great question, Shan. Well, a few things that I can say in regards to that. One, I don't go in there, and if, like, my ego does, I speak to my ego kindly before entering the audition. I don't go into any audition with a competition or comparison or contrast mindset, because all those who are attending the audition, we are all the same kind. It's like, lions seeing lions, or monkeys being around monkeys, or giraffes being around giraffes. Like, we share the same craft, passion, and art. So we are of the same kind, and that's what helps me eliminate the fact of going in there trying to take people's heads off, or trying to frontline myself, because then already the value and, like, morals of why I attended the audition are already out the window if I'm going in like that. So with that being said, I keep in mind and I keep in heart when attending auditions is to remain in your nature and flourish from there. And I'm not just talking about specifically dance itself. I'm talking about you as a being, wholeheartedly, completely entering the audition, coming from your essence of nature. And me, I love people. So when I go to auditions, like, I'm not there to win and see you lose. I'm not there to up you. And man, like, being there already around other people who share the same love for what we do and enjoy, like, that atmosphere already is to be around that is already for me is already enough. So from there, all you gotta do is just remain in your nature. Just remain in your nature, and I think that's where your truth lies. And as things come to you within the audition, like the steps, the panel, and then the experience, and the sweat, of course, the time, the effort, um, if you just remain in your nature, you will genuinely absorb that experience from a heartfelt place, you know. And
Mhm.
I think that's what will keep you uh, grounded in being authentic and just being you, you know,
Mhm.
and not trying to mirror what's around you or you know, go outside of who and what you are. So um, those are a couple things that I keep with me.
Yeah. Well, that's something that is definitely something that I know for the people who have met you, that is what sets you apart from a lot of people is you have this ability to see people as they are and
Mm,
just want to naturally be friends with a person regardless of whether you've known them just or just met them
right.
and you have this natural want to just embrace people and I think that naturally gravitates people towards you and
Mm,
um, what I want to know about that
yeah.
is that learned? Is that something that you learned? Is that did you have an experience and that made you see, okay, this is important, or was this something that was instilled in you, or something? Where did it come from? Because some people just don't have it. Some people go into an audition, or some
Mm,
people walk out of their homes just not even seeing people or not even wanting to bother uh, uh, seeing people as who they are and just
right.
seeing where they're just focused on themselves or
Yeah.
whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Um, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Definitely. In my case, I feel like it has a lot to do with um, my family, the way I was cultivated throughout my upbringing, and within my you know, my culture and heritage that we both share. Um, it's very, I mean, for my family, like family comes first. So our values and our courtesy and morals are always, they always stem from a place of help or service or giving, and that's just the way I was brought up, and I think throughout my years of performing, uh, that performing is a huge deal to me because we are providing a display of entertainment to an audience,
Mm-hmm.
and the um, responsibility and the privilege that we have as performers uh, lies in our power of what we give to them during the performance and what they take away from what we are showcasing when they leave. And
Mm-hmm.
I think again, I learned a lot from cirque um, through performing is the amount of different walks of lives that attend the shows. These are people from all over the world coming to watch the show for the first time or even watching it again. But you only have that one time to leave an imprint on the folks watching, on the audience. So, with that being said, you know, with that one shot, I it's very like vital to me to uh, heartfully provide what I want them to have and receive and take away when they leave the show. So I think that just added more to the fire as far as just being embracing and yeah, like gearing and um, taking control of that love that you know is in us and translating it in that way for others.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was super super powerful.
Thanks, Shan.
So,
Yeah, and I know you can vouch and feel and relate to that because I feel that from you. You know,
thanks,
definitely.
man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
girl. Seriously.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's such a privilege
hmm
grateful to do what we do, and the fact that somebody has paid, it's a paid show, right? Somebody has paid, and you don't know exactly what you said. You don't know their life. You don't know what they've been going through, but the fact that they put their money that they worked for towards being able to see you,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of responsibility. And uh, I sometimes can get hard on myself, especially if I may not have done my best.
Same.
Um, yeah, uh, just yeah. I mean, just because it's like people are coming to see you, and then exactly, it's up to you, right, to
Yes. Yes.
leave them with something. But yeah, no, I think it's safe to say that you definitely leave people walking out of the room or walking out of the theater or wherever it is that they're watching with just something beautiful that they can take from. Because
Mm,
I mean, uh, and because people come up to you and they give you their feedback, and it's a beautiful thing to watch people share their thoughts and their feelings with how you were able to move them.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Going back to the audition and how you said making friends and stuff, like I relate to that because, and for anyone who's watching, if you're a dancer and you have super anxiety going to the audition, one thing that's something that's very practical for me that I do, if I'm just not in the right mindset, is I'll literally make friends with at least one person, and that automatically puts me in a human state, and that we
Yes.
can both share our whatever it is that we're feeling in that moment, because it sometimes it's just about knowing that there you just need to be in the space, and having that person will help you root down, I guess. I don't even know.
Yeah. And relieve the pressure. Relieve the
Really
pressure. And
pressure.
I feel like doing that, connecting with others and making friends, like relief wise, it adjusts like the perspective of um yeah, of that like urge or nervousness, the natural nerve and tension being at an audition. And then, I mean, like doing that, I feel you could kind of play with it and treat it like recess. Like, oh
Yeah,
my, like you're just around other classmates and you're about to do an activity for this recess period. Like, why can't we do it together? Like, you might as well enjoy it the way you want, you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, automatically that helps me tremendously. That just puts me
yeah.
out of that space, that
Oh
peace.
man.
It's just like, why? Why do auditions have to be like this? The truth is, auditions don't have to be like that. I've gone to so many auditions where it's mad chill and super fun, and the people who are holding auditions recognize that if they create a safe space for dancers, then they can much easily get what they want out of them.
Mm, yes, exactly.
Whereas then you have other auditions where it's just like, it's it is it an entitlement thing coming from the
Right.
people who are auditioning, and then also the stuff that they're teaching. It's like I don't know. There's a whole side of auditioning that I feel like is completely unnecessary.
Yeah. No, no, I'm with you, and that's reality for sure. And
Hmm.
yeah, like you said, the auditions that do or that are comforting and like more so friendly based and just kind of soften the aura within the room. Um, it, for the folks who are holding the audition, you're holding a space for the folks who are auditioning to be comforted in a way where they can give you themselves in the most like joyous way, instead of having to like you eliminate a lot of pressure off the folks who are auditioning when the room and tone and atmosphere is set in a more like engaged and connected and friendly way, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
which I highly always, I always hope for, and because I mean, it shouldn't be that. I hope that it evolves more so in that way, and not so, at times where it could be like cold or tight, or stiff because of the yeah, that demeanor.
Yeah, because then it becomes unfortunate because you're not able to do your best as a dancer, and then
Mm.
you, if you're the one holding the audition, you're not able to get what you want.
Fully right.
You're not even able to see the potential in people, and then that, because that potential is what's going to help, why you want them in the first place.
100%. Yeah.
But so I have so many complaints about the auditioning world. It's like, I mean,
Yeah.
you you you've done acting, you've done casting calls for acting, and I remember the first time that I went to a call for acting, I thought, wait, what? It's structured like this? This
Yeah.
makes much more sense. Why are dance auditions the way they are? When
Why?
clearly there's a more logical and better way of doing things, of running things.
Totally. Casting calls have this whole different wave of like, I just had fun doing that. Like I always tell myself that after castings. I'm like, "Man, that was fun. Like, I almost want to go back and just stick around and just, hang out. Like it's just
Yeah,
be like that sometimes.
and it's also like max 30 minutes long, as opposed to 5 6 hour dance auditions that you're not even.
Efficient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Soon to be evolved.
let's push for that. Let's push
Yeah.
for that. But and I also want to talk about some of the challenges you faced. If
Mm,
you've had any really some major challenges that have affected you as a person, but also your career as a dancer, and um, and if that's affected now your approach and outlook on life at all.
sure, sure. Yeah. Thank you for asking that because uh, one of the biggest challenges that I can definitely and would and love to share is when I got diagnosed with Graves' disease in 2011. And as far as Graves' disease, in my case particularly, I had extreme overactive thyroid, which is here.
Mhm.
My and in my case, it was hereditary. Um, and yeah, that I was diagnosed in 2011, and my initial effects that I had to deal with was the loss of weight. I lost 50 pounds. I was 145 and I dropped to 95 pounds.
Well,
Um, I was always shaky and my eyes were bulgy. My neck physically was fat. Like it would go here and then it'd stick out like this. Um, and I remember one night at Cirque, the Love Show, um, we were doing our first show, and it was the beginning. I went on stage, did my first beginning set, got back off stage, and I realized that I naturally sweat a lot, but I was sweating more than normally. So
mm,
I thought at the time, oh, maybe I'm out of shape. So the next day, I went to the gym. I was doing bench press. It's my first set. I took it off the rack, did one rep, I threw it back on, I popped up, and I felt cold and hot immediately. Ran to the bathroom and I threw up. I saw my family doctor that the day after that. She sent me to a specialist thinking that I had a stomach virus. That specialist, who was a blessing, before he even saw or dived into my stomach or why I was there, he noticed my neck, like
mm,
off top, and he was just like, "What are you here for?" And I was like, "My family doctor told me that I have a possible stomach virus." And he goes, "And what are your symptoms right now? What do you feel?" And I told him, I was like, "Well, I'm always sweating, which I never do, and I'd be sitting here and I'd sweat profusely,
Wow.
and I was shaky. My eyes were bulgy. You can see like they're always like red, and my anxiety and stress levels were naturally bothered. And he goes, "Okay, I think you need to see an endocrinologist because I can see from your neck physically that you have a, a normal thyroid issue." So from there, they discovered that I had Graves' disease, and my endocrinologist restricted me from any physical activity completely. Um, yeah, so I wasn't able to perform. I wasn't able to work out. I wasn't able to even run or do any type of physical activity whatsoever. And that went on for about close to 2 years. And I was on heavy medication. I was on um, a cycle of daily medication to bring my vitals back to normal. And I would say 2.5 years, almost 3 years into this duration of my um, disease, I ended up getting a iodine treatment, a radioactive iodine treatment, um, where I had to take an iodine pill, and then they put this big old square radioactive, unit um, over me. And what it did was it eliminated the overworking cells, which allowed my neck to return back to normal. Um, and it was so funny because I had to exit the doctor's office through the back because I was radioactive. And they even gave me a slip. They're like, "Yeah, if you were to get pulled over from the doctor's office to your house, show this to the officer because from his speed gun, he'll read your radioactivity from the procedure." And I had to stay in my room for 2 weeks. I couldn't engage or interact with anyone in the household, my family. My food had to get left at the door. Yeah, I had to like wipe my toilet down with Clorox after I used it. Like it was a big process. And then yeah, that all the way up till now, I still have to do like monthly blood work to upkeep and maintain status on my thyroid. But for the first, I'd say 3 years after being diagnosed, um, that was my biggest challenge. Being told that you cannot do any physical activity, and with my career at the time, they were like, unfortunately, you won't be able to dance, you won't be able to perform, and you won't be able to, do your daily workout and upkeep of that. So it made me hone in on the fact of not taking what we do for granted. Um, and the time that I was cleared to start back up doing minor activity, um, I feel, which is what gives me the drive till this day presently in being so devoted and dedicated to taking care of my faculties and my facilities within myself to be, conditioned in what we do as far as performing and maintaining, your physique and your health. Um, so that that was a time in my life where I feel was a blessing in disguise to have to experience something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing that.
of course, of course.
How are you now?
Well, honestly, I can I can gratefully say that I'm in the best condition that I've ever felt. Just overall, internally and externally, and continuing to grow within that. Um, I'm off all medication, and I've been off all medication for the past uh, 4 years.
Wow.
And yeah, my I had an endocrinologist in the Bay Area. I had an endocrinologist in Vegas, and I had an endocrinologist in LA, and they all agreed to allow me to have my body react to my thyroid naturally from this point on. And up till this day, so far, my body has been handling it well. I've been good, maintaining myself naturally, not being on any meds, which I prefer. And my thyroid itself has been good. And going through this whole process of having Graves' disease, it also allowed me to take more responsibility of my diet. Yeah, because I was told, that I couldn't eat certain things. So getting out on the other side of it and recovering and revitalizing myself and getting back into the swing of activity and all that, it really made me take responsibility to focus on my intake of diet and all my outside upkeeps and remedies to stay healthy. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely was a blessing in disguise for
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah, girl. Back then, imagine like skinny jeans being baggy on you. That's
And
how
you
skinny I was.
were 25 pounds?
Yes, I wish I had a picture. My gosh, you like it got so bad. Like when I would go to family gatherings, they would ask my mom just to be honest. They would ask my mom, "Is Nick on something?" Thinking that I was a druggie. Like,
Yeah.
no, he's sick. But it was scary. It was scary at one point.
I just can't even imagine because that's about 20 pounds less than I weigh right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You must have been
Yeah.
like smaller than me.
Like, my gosh, sucked in. Yeah,
Wow.
crazy, crazy.
So were you just you weren't able to do cirque, obviously.
Yeah, so
Time
sorry.
because that was in that time.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, from 2011 on, that's when I had to go through all my procedures and processes of recovery and medication taking and rest. And,
Wow.
yeah, having those restrictions. It was a ride, but um, definitely was a period of evolving and growth and finding a lot about myself that I didn't know.
Well, you recovered from it, and so
Right. Oh my gosh. That is like I have no words to express my gratitude and being able to recover and be where I'm at today for sure.
um uh were you still in Las Vegas at that time?
Yeah, yeah. I was still in Las Vegas. And then I would say I think 2011, 12, 13, and in 2000 mid 2013, I went to the Bay. Um, I went back there and lived there for some time, and that's where I got an endocrinologist based in the Bay. And then in 2015, I moved to LA.
Oh,
Um, and in 2015 actually was, or the end of 2014 was when I was cleared as far as getting back into physical activity and being able to move again and start back up with any physical actions. Um,
wow. So
yeah,
only 6 years ago were you able to start back up?
yeah, yeah. I know.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
Uh,
gosh.
wow. Were Was there a reason why you decided to move to LA?
Well, initially, I never had a particular reason for myself to move to LA, but my cousin Jillina Mendoza, who's a sister that I never had, she when she moved to LA, she was always encouraging me and poking me to get out there, and she just wanted me to test the waters being in LA and just uh, get into the entertainment industry uh, in LA, being the capital of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in 2015, for me at the time of living, it was I was able to, and it, because of her, she gave me that ignition to make the move, and that's who I initially stayed with, moving to LA. So she was my seed um, to LA.
Oh, thank you, Jaylene.
Yeah, thank you, sis. Seriously. Praise to that girl.
So then you started auditioning out here, and how I know you through Kogotiki,
Yeah,
which is a Polynesian entertainment here in LA, and um, which is great because you get to kind of still do your Polynesian um, performance as well.
yes.
So you
Mm-hmm.
get that coming out here,
Yeah, which
and
is huge.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I wanna push a little bit forward
yeah.
to um, Bellydance Evolution.
BDE.
BDE. You are a part of a production, a belly dance production by Jillina Carlano, and the new production is The Jungle Book. But you've since done uh, the production before that as well. Tell us how you got involved with belly dance evolution. I mean, it's obviously a different vibe
Yeah, yeah.
from what you were used to. So yeah,
Oh man, I
yeah,
love this story. I when it comes to belly dance
I already
evolution,
know,
I
but
I cherish the story because of you. All because of you, Shanann. So for those who don't know, one day I was at home in LA editing footage, like deep into editing footage. It was in the afternoon. I think I started in the morning. I didn't shower. I didn't eat. I didn't have breakfast, any of that. I think I was still in my pajamas. I brushed my teeth and I went straight to editing something at the time. And you reached out to me an hour before the BDE auditions was ending, telling me that I need to go. I should attend it because there's still time, and they're looking for a male lead role.
yeah, and I think that was the callback actually. That wasn't even like
Yes,
the first audition. That was already the callback.
you're right. You're right.
And I just happened to be at the studio, and I totally forgot that they were having auditions even. And when I saw that sign, I immediately was like, ah!
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then when you told me that, I looked at my phone to see what time it was, and I think it ended at 2:30, and it was like 1:30, and I didn't even shower. I threw on an outfit. I grabbed my bag, hopped, drove, and when I got there, I think it was like 2 already, and yeah, they oh my gosh, by the grace of Jillina and Heather, I think there was only two men left, and they're already going over their solo piece. And they told me, or they allowed me to um, participate, but they were like, since you arrived just now, would you be open to just doing what we ask of you, like maybe freestyling, because all the other men have something prepared. And I was like, yeah, of course, I'll do it, whatever. Like, so
Yeah, and I
um,
remember I was just like, what if they're gonna ask you to do so? Whatever you do, take your shirt off.
you did, yeah. So, and then at one point they're like, because I told them about Polynesian dancing, and they wanted me to display that and perform, a small piece for them. So as I was hooking my music up, I was taking my shirt off so naturally, because just even like when we practice, that's our attire. Like the boys don't wear shirts. So when I was taking it off, I was like, oh gosh, they probably think I'm like a show off right now, trying to just do me, and you know what I mean, like just feel myself. So I turned around to them and I was like, um, respectfully, I just want to let you know that I'm removing my shirt because the Tane, or men in Tahitian dancing or Polynesian dancing, we don't wear tops. Like, so I just want to give you the full effect as much as possible, if that's okay. And they're like, oh yeah, of course. God, thank you for being so considerate. So I caught myself. I was like, hold on. They probably think I'm just like look at this show off taking off his shirt when we didn't even ask. What are you doing? Yeah, and gosh, it was that was a fun audition, and girl, you're the seat to that. So like, you are, you don't even know. You don't even know how how much I cherish that. And that's how, yeah, that's how I was able to be introduced to the belly dance world, which honestly I have never thought or imagined I would be introduced to or a part of. But now that I am, it is like a world of its own existence, and a beautiful world at that. Like, and it's so relatable to um, the culture, and I would say the world of Polynesian dance, which made me feel so uh, initially comfortable. Um, and I have so much admiration, I have so much respect and uh, inspiration from the world of belly dance, and who I've been able to witness and experience and be around. Like that world is elegant. Like it's just like grand, you know. It's like, I don't know. It's just like that chandelier hanging in front of a mansion when you open the doors. Like it's just so. It's rich, you know. It's rich. Like I don't know. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can, but and the culture runs deep. And you, man, you ladies, even the men, you all love the the the, the culture and roots of belly dance, and it's always felt.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
so rich,
Mm-hmm.
so rich.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Rich.
and I remember, I think you asked me what exactly it was, and I was just like, who cares? Just go to the audition. You'll figure. I'll explain it to you later.
I know. I was trying to get all the details. You're like, we don't got time for that. Just come to the studio, grab what you need, and get here.
I want to say it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my god! And I remember the car ride there. I was like, am I gonna have to belly dance? Because the only time I've seen belly dances on movies, but even then, like that's so vague. Like, what am I supposed to do? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh no.
I remember Jillina and Heather. They were, they sent me a message and they're like, "We're strongly considering Kapua for the
Oh,
role. Can you tell us a little bit about him? You know, how is
yeah.
it working for him?" And I went in. I was just like, "He's amazing! Wow,
Oh
wow!
my
He
gosh,
was
man.
so nice. He's
Uh,
to work with." Like,
I
yeah.
can't thank you enough.
Hey man, you showed up. You showed up.
It was
And I
meant to
know a
be.
lot of people would not have showed up, especially, it's like people could have easily said, I could have called someone else and they could have said, "Oh, well, it's too late."
Right, right. Yeah.
Or belly dance. I don't do belly dance.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I feel like it definitely was just meant to be, and in the divine plan. Because once you told me that and looked at my phone, I didn't even have a room of thought, or like, it was just like, there's time, get up, get dressed, and go. And you have no time to shower. And me, like, I love to shower. Like I gotta get did up, but not in this case. I was like, you don't got that. You don't have that privilege right now. Go and do the damn thing.
I was like, this will better show up.
Yeah. And I remember seeing you too before starting the audition, which like was all I needed, because I was like, yeah, girl, we're here. Let's do this thing. Yeah.
Hey man, you got it. You got it. Sure enough, this new production, it's all about you. You're the lead role of the Jungle Book, and it's phenomenal. You're absolutely amazing in it. We just did our premiere in Germany. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to tour any other time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it was super magical, and even how is it? How has it been for you now? You've been in belly dance evolution. You've been in the belly dance community for a few years now, I'd say, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, what's the roller coaster like? What's the ride like?
It's beautiful. Like I can't put it any other way. And BDE to me honestly has evolved into a family to me, and has a special place in my heart. And with Jungle Book, gosh, to be able to share the stage together, you and I, that's a huge. It was a huge deal for me because you introduced BDE and I, so to be able to share the stage together in a new production like this, it runs deep for me. But BDE has been like just how Cirque du Soleil is a time of its own that I will, for a lifetime of eternity, cherish. This is exactly that, but of its own. Um, Gosh, there's just so much beauty within BDE and all that I've been able to uh, experience, being with the company and alongside the casts, um, and travel. I
Mhm.
I had never even pictured or imagined me experiencing in reality what I have with BDE. Like, oh man, it's just beyond what I can put into words, and the feeling is so vibrant, and like it just shakes my system when I think about it. But it's pure. It's BDE is like it's remarkable and memorable to the heart, and the way it is just like upkept and ran, and you know Jillina and her whole staff and team, they are of their own kind, like, and it just comes from a pure place.
Yeah, this is actually my first production as well, with having the lead role in Bellydance Evolution, and I'm definitely so grateful to be a part of it, and yeah, no, exactly what you said, just the cast, and it's a machine. It's a very well run, very well
Yeah,
oiled machine, and going back to what we talked about with like auditioning and stuff. Jillina creates such a positive space, a beautiful space to make sure that people can bring the best uh, onto the stage, to bring their best selves for everyone, and for people who are watching, and for themselves too.
inside and out. She has
Yeah,
that gift. Yeah.
she has such a gift, and I'm so super grateful to Jillina, because even for me starting off, she was the reason why I started off as a belly dancer too. She gave me that
Hmm.
opportunity, and since then continues to give me so many opportunities, and I'm glad that she's given you that opportunity too, and I'm glad that I, even because I remember you texting me saying like, oh, I can't wait to tour with you, Shan. And I was like, I'm not touring with you. I'm not in the production, And you were like, wait, what? What do you mean? And I was like, no, that's helpful. That's separate from the local company that I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
even doing the Germany premiere, that was very surreal for me, because I remember that conversation that we had. I remember you asking, oh, or not even asking, just saying, we're gonna have so much fun, Shan. We're gonna travel, and I'm like, no.
You're like, nah, why are you hyping me up? Like,
And then every time there's a moment in the show where you and I do a little duet.
oh,
Every time I'm that moment comes up, because it reminds me like, oh wow, you just really never know.
you
You
just
never
don't
know
know.
what life is
Hmm.
gonna at you, and it really is true. Oprah says this all the time. I'm gonna butcher it, but it's really about, and you touched on it too. It's about putting your best self forward in each step that you take, because that's what's gonna bring you to this just unbelievable space and place that you can't even imagine.
You said it like you said it like a hammer on the nail for sure. Yeah, completely. complete. And the moment we share in the show, I know we have it's very dramatic and we have to be sad. But inside, I'm jumping because we're living that. Like we're exactly like you said. Like we're all that we shared. Like we're living that in that moment. Like being on stage, having a duet together. Like I know we have to be so dramatically sad, but inside I'm like, yeah, we're here together. That's too funny.
Yeah, no, that's such a
Yeah.
fun, it's such a fun moment too, because they're even in rehearsal, I'm like silently giggling at that time
Right.
because it's just
Right.
like, oh, we're here, we're totally here, Kapua. Yeah, it was a very fun space and place for me too to get to experience you in a different way because you and I
Mm.
work together a lot through Coco Tiki, which is in the Polynesian scene, and also hip hop, burlesque, like that
Yes.
scene.
Yeah.
It was my first time, and even for me, it was my first time being in that role and really seeing what belly dance evolution is on that level, I guess if you want
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it was very cool to experience that with you in a completely different way, just to experience you in a different setting.
Yep. Yep. Role playing. A live movie at hand. Drama.
Drama. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
for those of you who are watching, I do hope that we get to do it soon. Definitely 2021. So, um, for sure, that was not the end, and there's so many good things to say about that show, but we won't spoil it
Yeah.
for everyone. So, um, I
Beautiful.
I know we're kind of running out of time a little bit, but thanks for sticking on.
Of course,
Um,
take as long as you need to. I don't want to get up. What else you want? What else you want to know?
there's I feel like I see you all the time. Well, not lately, but I see you all the time. But I feel like I never really have gotten a chance to speak with you about certain things. So this has been a really cool
Yeah,
experience for me.
this is
So
very special. Same.
thanks,
Very
thanks,
special. Man.
man. Um, well, I'm gonna move to some of the questions that we've had via Instagram.
Okay. Uh
Oh.
Okay.
I have one question since we're on this topic. This question comes from Luna. Uh, what are the differences between, if there are there any differences between working with belly dancers versus Polynesian dancers?
Difference between working with belly dancers and Polynesian dancers. I feel there's more similarities than differences.
Mm.
Um, as far as uh, um, the connection between what is being displayed from the dancer and the drumming. I feel we share that connection. That's very similar. Um, and the motions itself with the women um, in belly dance and then the women or Vahine in Polynesian dancing, I feel there's a lot of similarity in the motions. Um, honestly, the only difference that I could think of is probably just costuming. Yeah, I mean, and not to be compared, but like in Polynesian, it's very um, earth-based and like materials that are used
Natural material.
natural, exactly. And then on the belly dance side, you just have the gliss and the gloss and the glass. Yeah. You got the shimmer and but both share the same, you know, love and essence for that display of imagery. Um, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can't even think of any differences either.
Yeah. Uh, oh gosh.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm with you there. Definitely
Yeah.
more.
Maybe like language, like terminology and like.
Right.
But even then, with it being said differently, it has the same meaning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How about this? Are there any differences working with belly dancers, so the people themselves, the dancers themselves? Do you find that there's a difference, or maybe maybe a different way of working things between Polynesian dancers
Right.
versus belly dancers, even creative,
Um.
maybe even art form wise?
Uh. Gosh. That's even hard to say that there's a difference because even then, I feel on both sides there is a common um, storytelling
Mm-hmm.
and physical display of some type of description or message that we want to send or convey. Yeah, even then, I think there's more similarities and differences. And I
Yeah,
think the biggest
yeah.
similarity, yeah, I think the biggest similarity that both worlds share is the engagement with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, gosh, I can't even think of
Yeah,
any.
I totally feel you. I'm
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
well, this next question
Yeah.
comes from Stephanie Chan.
Oh.
How are your online singing lessons going? And are you a tenor?
Am I a what?
Are you a tenor?
A tenor. Gosh.
I
Well,
didn't
for
know
one,
you were taking online singing lessons.
yeah, on the low, on the low. Um,
No, everybody
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just been something random that I've been wanting, like, especially with the pandemic, quarantine, and stay at home. I was like, let me just throw one mini uh, off the wall activity or hobby at myself that I can comfortably just try out and doesn't take too much out of me. And yeah, I was just like, let me test these vocals out and see what they got. Let me put some like structure on it. Um, well, honestly, I must say, and I'm not even hitting no like, I'm not up there,
do.
falsettoing, but um, to like sum it up, like my humming skills have improved. Like just to start somewhere, like humming songs or just finding a controlled level of range and then bringing it, high to low. Like just being able to understand the gaps of range and uh, yeah, it brought so much clarity. And like I would say within the first 2 weeks, before even testing it out, the knowledge of like soaking that in and learning just the base of singing and where, posture and breath and just all that took a course on me before even physically trying it out. So it's going great. I'm all shoot. Don't put me around karaoke soon because that mic's gonna be sweaty in my hand. Like, but
Yeah,
it's
that's the
going
first thing we're gonna do after quarantine or after
right straight to it.
we're
Tapas
karaoke.
and karaoke. You know the drill.
Yeah, I even I took a few singing lessons a couple of years ago too, and that was really helpful. I felt that it brought just awareness
There you go. Yeah.
and
Mhm.
control.
Control. Yes.
Being able to, yeah, I guess it's a lot like working out, right? That mind body connection.
Mm-hmm.
So of like, okay, hey, I want to go here with my vocal cords, but where is that? Like, I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, yeah. We're yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's so cool that you're doing that.
Thank you. And it's been fun. And I mean, I just do it, in again like bite-sized pieces each day, little by little.
Little by little.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear your first single.
Oh God. Hint, hint. Yeah.
All right, so this next question is, how do you prepare for a performance? What do you do and what do you not do?
Hmm. Ooh, good one. How do I prepare for a performance? Well, first thing off the bat that I could think of is I make sure that I eat um, at a reasonable time before show, um, just
How
so that
long
I,
do you give yourself?
yeah, about an hour and a half, and then
Oh,
I'll give myself an hour to digest.
gotcha.
Mhm. And then I'll meditate. I'll meditate
What does
with
that look like for you?
sorry.
What does that look like for you?
I'll usually throw headphones on and just have like meditational instrumentals playing, and
Mm,
it's just a simple like yeah, close of my eyes and just uh, finding a place of nothingness. That's what helps me uh, empty myself completely of any, or just kind of remedy any nervousness or anticipation. And then, of course, I'll do my normal stretches and stuff and warming up. Um, and then I before the actual show, like I would say 5 minutes before showtime, I do breath work, and it's just simple deep breaths in as I raise my arms, hold, and then deep exhales as I lower my arms, and I'll do that. I'll do like 10 reps of that, and it's just a tool of calmness, stillness, and then I last thing that I do, which is a must for me, I have to hug and like kiss and just show love to all of the
mm.
fellow artists and people who I'm performing with, the rest of the cast. Just so like we can have this whole circulation of bond
Yeah.
brew, before showtime. So I have to like touch everyone. I have to hug. I gotta embrace, pour my love onto them before showtime because we're about to do this as a whole, as a unit. So everybody, soldier up.
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't even know. I observed you through warm up and stuff, but I didn't even know that that's what you're.
yeah. Because that's the thing. Like I feel when I connect with everyone, it takes you away from you. Like you're not, it removes the thought of focusing on how you will do, how you will perform.
Yeah.
Are you feeling 100? And it just being able to shift my perspective and attention to just others around me who I'm about to share the stage with. Like it's just that much more powerful as far as like collectively carrying each other
No.
um, and
Yes.
yeah, and feeling like you're not, like you're alone and yeah.
That's 100%. Yeah. Whenever I'm feeling, that kind of blinders on, my
Mhm.
tunnel vision kind of thing, I'll
Yeah.
do that because that just takes you out of everything and and what's important is especially if you're working for with a group of people, that connection is everything. That connection is can sometimes be way more important. I think that it's way more important than just being able to perform great on your own, but there's a reason why if there is a bunch of people on stage, that connection absolutely has to happen, because if it doesn't happen, I think that's what sets a good show apart from an amateur show. Is a lot of amateur shows don't understand the importance of connection between each dancers. There's
Mm.
there's it's an unsaid energy, and it's something that no one really talks about aside from maybe the choreographer, the director will just kind of nonchalantly say like, "Oh, look at each other," you
Yeah,
know
exactly. Right.
but for me, in my experience, I had to experience it and experience the difference of of having a connection versus not having a connection on stage, and what that does, what that translates to the audience. I had to experience it. No one really told me how important it was, and I think that's
Right.
everything.
everything, and it's so felt. It's so felt because even as an audience member, like when I watch a show, beyond like what is being displayed as far as the choreography, the steps, the technique, the the like the nitpicking, just like the details and the like the connection.
The moves.
Yes, exactly. The connection, like seeing that on stage amongst artists, like you can't compare anything to that. And then you feel it. It's felt, you know?
It's felt, and that's why you can't. It's not something to be said. There's a difference between watching a
Yeah.
show, via television or screen versus seeing it live, especially when
Yeah.
the energy is there. That's
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. I just want to share one thing. You know, the first time I really felt something like that, how someone could dramatically shift my energy because of theirs, and it was so palpable. It was like the craziest experience. Was the first time I performed with Jillina,
Mm,
and it was at the restaurant at Carousel. It's a
right.
Lebanese restaurant, and we do weekly performance. But it was the first time she came on, as a guest, and I was right behind her, and she joined. She joined, so I was dancing already with the group, but then she joined and came to the front, and it was like this. I don't even know, but it was just like this rush, like pull, and I was like, "Whoa, where am I right now?" That was such. I was just like, "What is that? What is that feeling?"
Oh my God.
Something that they don't teach you. I mean, I went to dance school. I went. That's something that they don't teach you. That's something that comes from experience and through time, and you
Mm-hmm.
go on physical stage and just work,
Exactly.
work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
You
was
said
that was such an amazing feeling, man.
I got chicken skin. Like I know exactly what you are saying. Seriously.
Hey, but you have that. You totally you
Shan.
totally have that same thing, and this goes. I'm gonna ask this one question for me.
Yeah.
You really know how to dominate the stage, and you understand how to connect with the audience. You know how to keep people engaged. A lot of people don't know that. So, what do you think it is about? What is it about that you do? What is it about your work ethic? What is it that sets you apart from someone else? Why is it that you have this and maybe someone else just doesn't? What is it? What, like, if someone is seeing you versus someone else, like, what can they do to go more in your direction?
Sure. Sure. Uh, honestly, it's that saying you don't have to prove anything to anyone, not even yourself. And with that being said, um, like when we perform, just as important or essential as your costume is, or the spacing on stage is, or the music and lighting, or the steps, the audience is just as an important tool and aspect of the overall picture in a production. And um, they're there to be played with. Like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and I think that, um, and everyone I feel strongly, everyone has it in them. It just takes time and experience. But when they start to reveal to themselves that the audience is here for my support as I am for them, that that is to be played with. Like, and I think that's what uplifts and enhances a show and a performance to a whole new level of now an experience that is unforgettable.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think that's what sets a performer apart from a dance studio dancer.
Yeah, yeah,
And I really honestly think that if we could shift the way training, if we could add on when a dancer is training, if we could add on the performance aspect and have a place for them to perform on a weekly basis and trial, I really do believe that the dancer is going to get more from that than just learning choreography. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that they're equally very, very important. You have to you have to sharpen your skills, but you got to understand that performance is a whole nother monster that you have to practice and perfect. And I
Yeah.
think the biggest difference is you also have had a lot of hours of being on stage and
Mm,
being able to practice and bounce ideas off of the audience. And people really don't understand how important that is, because I didn't even understand how
same.
important that
Same.
is until I was given the opportunity by Jillina to be in a belly dance company where we had shows twice a week.
Mm,
Not only that, it's different being from, I'm on stage with 2,000 people. No, it's you're on the floor and the audience is right there, is 1 foot away from
right.
you,
In touching distance. Yeah.
touching difference, and that energy is completely different from just, it's actually, for me, it's actually much easier to perform in front of tens and thousands of people on stage, with even however big the stage is, it doesn't matter. That's easier for me than it is to perform where someone's right there and you can feel what they're
Yeah.
thinking about you.
Yeah. And you can see it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy you say, because I feel like you said, I think it's a class, it's a workshop, it's a lesson of its own to know what it's like to perform and be on stage, and because there's so much to be learned and absorbed as far as like the tools and techniques being on stage, like head positioning, chin height, like it goes so deep. And yeah, exactly like you said, I wasn't even aware of all that. I was just like, I'm smiling.
right.
They're like, yeah, but your chin ain't up. like
Right.
you know, like it's just there's so much details within the in betweens that will skyrocket any performer as far as like their ethic and technique and yeah, experience on stage for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
that should be a class, girl.
that should be a class. That really needs to be a class.
Oh,
All
we'll see.
right.
Trying to
All
bring it to life. I think we, yes, we'll talk.
Let's do it. And I'm sure there are tons of people who would be willing to take that, because no one is really offering that. And also, as you said, people coming from all over the world to watch Cirque du Soleil, that is totally different, right? So if you're let's say you're a hip hop dancer and you go to places where it's all hip hop dancers, well, then you don't really get to exercise your performance skill, because you're only performing for the people that you're comfortable with, the community that you're comfortable with, the people that understand you already. But what about the people that don't understand you, that come from a different background? Like, to me,
Mm,
that is just as important, because that's a different language. Now you're learning a different way of communicating,
yes,
what you're used to.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And then
And
there's a, yeah.
not,
Go ahead. Sorry, sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and there's a whole that's a whole new wave of influence for those who
Mhm.
aren't even familiar or aware of that world that we come from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I will say that what sets you apart, and I think I share that with you, is because we have a love for all styles of dance. I personally have a love for all styles of dance. I know you do, and
Yeah, we do for sure.
you appreciate that. And I just can't not uh, say one dance form is worse than the other, or is better than the other, because it's just not. So
Incomparable. Yeah.
yeah, and that's like, for me. I mean, that's why I'm in so many dance styles, because I just love dance in general, but two, it makes you a better performer, because you see, okay, like this culture, really. really prides itself on these particular moves, or
Yeah.
this is how they communicate. This
Hmm.
culture, this is how Tahitians communicate. This is how hula dancers communicate, and hip hop dancers, jazz. Like everyone has their own way of communicating. Like I
Yeah.
really want to know how to do that, how to communicate to everybody.
Right. Right. And exactly. And it's like yeah, like Spanish, French, German language. Like we mean the same thing, but it's translated differently. And I
Yeah,
think so much to be absorbed and learned from like different genres.
man, this is so awesome. This is like, I love this stuff, man. Thank you so much.
Same. I'm like, well, what the rest of your day look like? Because I
Would you like another
have
one?
nothing on my agenda for the next to the evening.
Maybe we can. I mean, I definitely love to have you on. Maybe we could talk specifically on something, and then like
Please,
go in deep on that next time.
I'm
But
all, oh my gosh, I'm all for that.
last question, because we are almost at 2 hours.
Oh
Uh,
man,
what are you working on, man? Well, no, I'm not even gonna ask that. I'm gonna let's if how about this? Do you have any advice for dancers who are struggling right now? It's kind of a heavy question, but what would
I
you say?
hear
What would you say? What are you doing
you.
to deal with the current situation that's happening right now?
Sure.
Um, and any advice that you could give?
Yeah, definitely. I truly believe that this is a time where um, you can use those around you to lean on and to remember that you are not alone and by yourself in this current experience and situation. Therefore, um, with our current living and state of life at the moment, uh, as heavy and as dark and um, horrific things have been and are, um, through all that darkness, light balances on the other side. And I think I strongly believe and feel with this time being given to spend at home or being asked to stay home or recommended to stay indoors, that's a huge, huge uh, moment in time for humanity overall, only because we have the space, we have the ability, and we have the freedom of time to go inward
Mm-hmm.
and to this is a period of time where you can dive within and really get to know yourself beyond what you have imagined. And I think with every worry or daily struggle of what if or how will I or I cannot or how difficult this is or just how individuals may be feeling as far as collapsing, and just being crushed due to what's going on. Um, Man, this is really a time where it is given to us where we can, like, with our own selves, re, uh, like,
Imagine.
yes, like like re-sculpt and remold or even renew and pull things out of us that you know we didn't think we were capable of, and then that just goes as far as saying this. I feel like this is a period of reconnecting with the child inside of us. When you're at home as a child and you have free time, like, do you remember how creative kids were or how we were as kids, having so much free time at home, and just like what you just come up with doing to be active or occupy your time. This is such a precious moment in life and humanity, as far as um, like preparing or introducing or manifesting and creating just new or fresh or things that you're not used to, but just giving things a try, and um, I feel if the time is taken being at home to go within and dive into yourself deeper, that change within ourselves will equal the unity and wholeness of humanity, um, in becoming the cure and the remedy for the dark that's happening now. And you know what I mean? And we can't, of course, like I can't step outside and round up my whole block or the community or my neighborhood, to stand with me and how I feel. And let's do, people are gonna be like, look at this crazy fool. But if we individually take just the precious time that we are given right now to go within, I feel like there's a lot of clarity and openness and just availability of what we are unknown to become known to. And I think just with our change, or not even change, but with just the evolution within ourselves, one at a time, if we find just the effort and devotion to do that and practice, and not shoot for perfection in our state of living or being or conditions, if we just remove exactly, the progress of practice, if we just move the overall picture of looking for perfection or sorry, one thing I want to share, which I feel will touch a lot of folks, is I take an online yoga class from a teacher named Felicia Tomasco, and she said in one yoga class, she says, "You are not trying to get through the practice to get to where you want to go. Like you're not trying to finish or complete the practice to get there. Being in the practice allows you to already be there." And that, ever since that class I took, like I was like 2.5 weeks ago, that saying has stuck with me then, and just regrounds me every time I do struggle with or am going through a dip of, you know, anxiety, worry, feeling depressed, feeling empty, feeling lost, no direction, uh, funds, income, job security, health, medical bills, all of that. Like, it all, that saying really re um, freshens my perspective and intention, and brings you back to presence, and reminding myself that let me just take one bite at a time again. Like, that let me just slow down. I'm not trying to gulp this whole drink. Like, let me just sip on this and take it from there. And so, I mean, that would be my, gosh, I said that would be my bundle package of advice during this time.
Well, I think it's really great advice. It's a time of reflection. You're never going to get this time ever again, especially for people who everyone is suffering, yes, but then there are people who are, like for me, um, I'm not really suffering. I'm not really being affected by uh, COVID per se. I mean, yeah, exactly what you said, money and all that stuff. But my foundation, my basics for living, completely covered. And so, when I heard shutdown was happening, it was like, this is something that people can do uh, on practically. I had a piece of paper and I just wrote down what are all the things I want to do in my life, because now I have the time.
Now you
Because
have.
I don't have an excuse anymore, because my excuse all the time was I just don't have time. I don't
Yeah.
have time. I don't
Yeah.
have time. I don't have time. And for me, I was like, if I don't do at least one thing that's on this list, I'm hopeless.
Right.
I'm really hopeless, because
Every,
there's just no excuse. I had all the time in the world to
mhm,
change, become
mhm.
a better person, and there's no way we're ever gonna get. Life is gonna get harder. There's no way I would have been able to be blessed. For me, I consider this a blessing too.
Yeah.
This being able to slow down, because I
Yeah.
didn't know that I was on fast forward until I was forced to slow down.
Yeah. I
And
totally agree. Totally agree. Um,
sometimes, and then it's just like the momentum, it just takes you and takes you. You don't question it. You don't,
yeah.
your internal compass isn't working. You're just being taken away by whatever is coming at you, which isn't the smartest way, especially if you have a place where you want to go directly. So, I really am very grateful to the situation that's happened, because if it weren't for that, I mean, we wouldn't even be talking right now. We literally would not be talking,
I was just
because
gonna say this wouldn't even be, yeah, brought to life. Hmm. Yeah. And I, I'm such a strong believer of us, all of us, as a whole, in humanity, of being divinely supported. And with that, we weren't, we weren't like created or put in this moment on this earth to take on everything ourselves. And I feel that, we kind of like choke the bunny a lot, because it's a natural human nature to worry of our stability, or just, the chaos or like uneasiness of what's happening around us. Um, but in the same breath, one thing that truly has helped me, that I constantly remind myself of, no matter what, is to not lose your sense of humor.
mm,
And I actually, Sadhguru, our good friend Sadhguru, he was saying that in a YouTube seminar that I was watching recently. And he was just saying, like, if you're dead serious during this time of COVID, you are already dead. Like, you're already dead. So why are you worrying? You know,
true.
you have life right now. Why are you so dead serious with no sense of humor? You're already dead. So, and again, that was like an eye opener. I was like, right. Like, I know things are what they are, but as humans, and this is what it is. So at the same time, we have to attend to our other natures as well, which is having a sense of humor, having joy, being playful. And I think that's the light to the dark. That's the left to the right, that's the up to the down, that's the yin to the yang.
Oh man, that's the perfect. We're ending it on a good note with Sadhguru. Um,
Yeah, meant to be.
Kapua, thank you for taking the time, man.
And
I really, really appreciate it. This is so much fun, and getting to
always,
work on having a conversation
always.
like this was very cool. Where can people reach you at? I know you're on Instagram.
Yes, Instagram. Thank you, Shannon. Wow, how special. Yes, Actual Kid. God, you're the bomb. That came out of nowhere, like 5, 6, 7. On it. Wow, I'm amazed right now. That's it right there. Yes, Instagram, at
You
Kapua
have
Kid.
Facebook at all?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Facebook is my full name, Nicholas. Kapua Arrivis. But if you just type in Nicholas, Nicholas, and then Arrivis, Arrivas,
Okay.
you'll find me. Or you can just put Kapua, I'll pop up too. YouTube as well, same. You can type in Nicholas Arrivis, Nicholas Kapua Arrivis. You can visit my website, which is kapuaarrivis.com. K-A-P as in Paul, U-A, and then my last name, Arrivas. One word, .com.
Right there.
Yeah, thank
Right.
you, Shannon.
You're
Wow. I have to thank you for all of your creations, from the flyer to, look at this, like, for this to be displayed. It's like, This is so big to me right now. Like I feel like a kid. I'm like, how did you do that? Wow, that's
Oh
special.
yeah. Yes, no, I mean this software StreamYard is pretty amazing. It's the amount that you can do with it is awesome. So
You got it down.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have you on again, and maybe we could definitely
Please.
concentrate something more on like performance and really, dive into how we can make our performance skills just that much better. I think that would be really useful for dancers. What do you think?
Shan, please do that. I'm in. I'm there. I'm there. Let's do it.
Sweet
Please.
sauce.
Oh,
Thank
this was beautiful,
you so
Shan.
much, Kapua,
Of
for
course. You
for
know I
this.
got you, girl.
We'll see you again. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next week's session. I have a whole lineup for August. We also have a couple of panels coming out, so it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Goodbye, beautiful. See you
Thank
next
you, everyone.
time.